Welcome back to XCOM 2, where last time we abducted an Advent VIP with help from a turret that won most of that battle for us. Then we had to hack a device on a train and very nearly failed, succeeding at the last possible moment and going on to defeat the aliens in the area. Now we're starting the attack on the aliens' real black site, where they're really up to no good and the enemy have just walked their first pod up to be right in front of us, so it's time to get the fighting started. Spooky Sam is in the distance. He's going to begin things with a shot onto the shield bearer, because getting rid of that guy will stop any buffs being applied, so should make the rest of the fighting in this area easier. The rest of the squad are positioned around the enemy, many of them on overwatch, so that's going to allow us to kill this stun lancer as he tries to run for cover. The mech, the heavy mech, just stood there and went into overwatch, so we don't get any overwatch shots on it, but I was able to use Crotch's gremlin to just shut this mech down. Now it will stand there for a couple of turns, giving us ample opportunity to kill it at our leisure. At this time, another Chosen comes to fight with us. This time, it's the Hunter, the Chosen we haven't seen yet. This guy is a sniper, so likes to hide at the back of the map and try to shoot you from an extreme distance, which actually, as it turns out, makes him the easiest one to deal with, as we'll see. Some more robots are nearby and they are attracted over to the fighting, so now we need to deal with them, including the massive sectopod, the super highly armoured and highly hit-pointed enemy. First, I need to deal with the robot right in front of me before it wakes up, and obviously that's not going to be a huge issue. Constantinus does some damage and removes its armour. I think Crotch and Nariko worked together to bring it down after that. The explosion causes some Lost to spawn. One of the dark events, the global challenge run debuff things that we have, is that the Lost can appear on any mission, not just the special Lost missions, so we're going to have to deal with them quite a lot from now on. As for this sectopod, I sent the gremlin from Lordovix out to see if we could shut it down, because this thing has so much health and armor, it's going to take many turns to kill it, and fortunately we get the shutdown here. I thought it would be harder than that. So now this deadly war machine will just stand there for a while, giving us all the time we need to take control of the situation. Todo downs one of its supporting mechs, and other party members can start just firing on it to gradually reduce its health. We need to get rid of its armor as well to make this really efficient. That mech at the back there triggers a kill zone. I think this actually is from Spooky Sam, although he misses. Not very like him. That robot's now going to get a chance to attack us. Fortunately, it doesn't use its grenade attack. I think because it can't see Takahisa up there on the tower, it decided to try suppressing Lordovix rather than shooting a grenade in, which would have hit two of our members. Now the Chosen at the back of the map's just doing its thing. I'm only going to show this once in this battle because it uses a repeating cycle where it just grapple hooks around in places where you can't possibly fire at it, and then tries to fire at you, but it takes a turn to charge up its shot, so it's actually quite easy to dodge it. All it does is mark one party member who's about to be killed, and if you move out of the red area, then they don't get killed, because the Chosen just won't fire. So all you need to do is pick where exactly you want to go out of the area, and luckily there tends to be some useful place you can go to that's still in cover, but isn't in the area that you're about to get shot in. In this case, Napoleon just goes off to the flank and can now get started on those Lost who've just come in. Constantinus shoots a grenade forwards to end the suppression from the Advent mech and start removing the armour from both it and the nearby sectopod. Arakamani moves up to deal with that remaining Advent mech, and then it's just the sectopod to fire at, and our whole party, everyone's still got a shot, can go for it, it's easy to hit, and we do enough damage to actually get rid of it right away. So there we go, we didn't face the major threat that might have posed. We've now secured the base that defends the entrance to the main part of the base. We have to go across two bridges across this ravine to get to that main base. We could see that there were some enemies waiting on the other side, so I got Constantinus to shoot a rocket across. An enemy trooper is killed immediately, and a Codex and a stun lancer are damaged, joining the fight now. The Codex doesn't actually clone itself immediately after taking that damage. Maybe it has to be damage that takes place after it's been aggroed that causes it to clone. Crotch goes for an outflanking shot on that Codex, but the Codex dodges it so it doesn't die, and now it does spawn its clone on our side of the ravine no less, so it could outflank us. Luckily in this case, Todo Takahisa was nearby and he could take a decent chance to hit shot, and he gets it, so the cloned Codex is gone, although he was revealed by that act. Now I got Arakamani to take a not particularly good shot against a stun lance in cover, and he was lucky enough to get it with a critical even, so that got rid of him. Next I moved Constantinus up to join Arakamani now on the bridge. Unfortunately this triggered a new alien pod. I was only one tile closer than Arakamani was, but apparently that was enough to make the difference, and now more enemies are on their way in. The game shows us the side of this truck or something. I think it's trying to show us the building behind it right now, emphasizing that this is indeed the alien base and perhaps trying to suggest we should go inside, as if we wouldn't do that. So here we go, more aliens appear. Napoleon was in Overwatch and gets some damage onto one of the mutons, good for him. We are towards the end of our turn, so it's a shame to have new enemies come in now. We won't be able to react very much to this. One thing we can do is kill this Codex. Crotch had a 3% chance to hit, but I can turn that into a 100% chance by using Hail of Bullets, one of the cross-class abilities that I taught to him in the training center. So there we go, that's the Codex removed from play. Takahisa takes a shot against a Muton and gets it, not enough to kill it, but now is weak enough that pretty much anything will kill it soon. All the enemies are impaired by Tactical Analysis, the passive buff we get from controlling all of Europe. That means they can only take one action on their first turn fighting us. They're going to use that action to mostly do not very much at all. The Codex uses Psionic Bomb to remove ammunition from a couple of our operators, so that's annoying, and the Mutons use a combination of Overwatch, Suppression, and just firing at people who are in heavy cover, which altogether doesn't do anything for this turn at least. Normally the AI wouldn't take such low probability shots, but I think the tactical impairment thing means that since they can't move and then take a shot, they just don't want to move at all, even if that movement would give them a better shot next turn. It's not really looking that far ahead, so I think that's why the enemy, for all intents and purposes, wasted that turn there. The Psionic Bomb, which removed Nariko's ammo, proves not to be enough to stop her. She can still use her rocket, killing a Muton, damaging another, and bringing another down from a guard tower, so it doesn't have its height advantage against us. Arakamani's got a decent chance to hit the enemy that's currently suppressing Constantinus, and he gets it. That's good, because Constantinus is currently the one being targeted by the chosen sniper. That means he does have to move, and now he can move without triggering Overwatch shots. Takahisa brings down another Muton in the distance there. Really, this pod hasn't achieved very much, has it? The last Muton tries to run towards us, but Crotch was in Overwatch and he got the hit there, so that left only a Codex. Arakamani crossed the bridge and casually tossed a grenade at it. Nothing near enough to kill it, so it's going to clone now and create another Codex off to his flank, but the original Codex is now out of cover, and we did have Napoleon on hand to take care of that. There we go, leaving just the cloned Codex on low health, who happened to be in the line of sight of Spooky Sam, who has climbed up one of the enemy guard towers and gets the hit there. So that's all of the enemies between us and the alien base gone. Time to make our way in. Or is it? Yes, I was lying actually, because the next alien pod, which was just inside the base, saw us through the windows and decided to come outside to fight us in the doorways, so we're not going to get inside quite yet. Crotch gets a nice Overwatch hit on that heavy mech, starting to damage it. At the start of the next turn he also takes a shot at a regular mech and kills it in one hit. Very good work from him, he is always reliable. Next I moved up Napoleon to get close up for a decent shot, and he's able to look inside the base and see what's going on. The aliens oblige by opening up all their weird pods to actually show us. They're making the Advent soldiers that we've been fighting here. But that's not the actual mystery, because we already knew they were doing that. It doesn't really matter where they're doing it. There's a more interesting looking pod at the back of the building, so maybe they're making something more interesting than their grunts. So now we'll have to move on and try and get to that. As for Napoleon, I was looking for this perfect grenade hit that would damage both the enemy mech and the shield bearer behind the wall at the same time. Eventually got it by bouncing the grenade off the crossbar of that fence. It destroys the wall, so that's going to expose the shield bearer for an easy shot. It unfortunately didn't kill the mech. Lordovix took a shot though, he missed, but his weapon upgrade that deals 1 damage when you miss actually caused the mech to die because it only had 1 health, so that worked out alright. Constantinus uses Hail of Bullets to get himself a 100% chance to hit shot on an enemy inside the base. There we go, now we don't have to worry about him. That ability really is pretty OP. Nariko gets an overwatch shot on a stun lancer that's running outside, but the stun lancer dodges it partially, so it just loses a few hit points and it will be able to make an attack. Luckily, Napoleon in heavy cover dodges it there, and now the stun lancer standing right in front of us ready to die. The shield bearer uses his shield, so both the stun lancer and itself will have extra health, but it's not enough. Arakamani kills the shield bearer in one hit with a critical, very nice. Now just the lancer to deal with. I'm going to move Lodovix up to outflank it and shoot it from behind. The real question here was just who should kill it and get the experience, not whether it was possible, and Lodovix could use a kill in this mission, so there we have it. Now we go into the base for real this time, and Arakamani runs up to take a look through this hole in the wall into the clean room where this big pod is. We can see there's a tile on the floor we can use to activate it, so we'll have to go in and do that. But there is going to be a bit of resistance. These snakes on the roof kind of smelt us in some way and are coming down for a fight, and there's a spectre as well. They're going to be in pretty inaccessible positions actually, because the way this base is laid out means you have to go around the edges to get into this next room. So we're not close to them in terms of movement points, but they can see us through the wall. So we're going to be shooting at each other before we get into a position where we're going to be outmaneuvering and outflanking each other. One of the Vipers tries to poison Crotch, but he's immune to poisoning for reasons I can't remember. Might be because of his class, maybe the specialist class is immune to it. Not really sure why, but luckily enough he doesn't get poisoned. There we see some more attacks coming in, but there are no results. We are all kind of out of their line of sight, but the game's just saying we can see each other thanks to these little holes in the wall. So it just makes sense in terms of realism that these attacks would be missing. The Spectre runs forward. Constantinus tries an overwatch shot, but you can't do that against the Spectre because of its lightning reflexes, as we've seen before. And now he phases through the wall, apparently, and can use his Shadow Bind ability on Arakamani. Then he Michael Jacksons his way back to the other side of the wall, just so we can't kill him, so that's annoying. I think we might have been glitched a little bit there. And the Shadowbound Arakamani runs back through as well, so now we're going to have to try and deal with that Spectre to get Arakamani back on board. Since he's in that room, that means we really need to get into the room to have a chance of outflanking him. One of the Vipers tries to come around to our side, but Crotch is standing here in the corner and denies that attack. Good stuff from him. This Viper at the very back is going to try and hit Crotch, but he's shooting through two walls. He definitely didn't have line of sight there, and luckily it misses to perhaps represent that. Then Napoleon takes a shot again, no line of sight. The game's just gone out of control. It's usually out of control with line of sight, but it's just having another one of those bad days. Now Crotch comes to outflank the Spectre. He can't kill it though, he needed a critical to actually kill and doesn't get it, so Arakamani is still dead. We're going to switch briefly now to the roof. While that's been going on, I've had Todo Takehisa walking across the roof looking for the Chosen Hunter. We found it and get a critical hit on it there because it's just standing outside of cover, very handy. Now back to the inside. We've got Napoleon here who can actually jump through this tiny gap in the wall and get into the clean room via a shortcut. Now he can outflank the Spectre and of course gets that kill with a 100% chance to hit there. That means Arakamani is now going to be coming back into the fight, and his first action is going to be to also sneak through the wall using the barely usable hole that we can apparently fit through and take a shot that kills one of the Vipers. That left just one more who was actually outside the building, but I can get Constantinus to shoot a grenade through the wall, through one of those little holes I guess, in order to destroy both the wall and the Viper. Getting rid of the wall is handy because that will allow us to extract out the back of the base if we need to. Now the only enemy left was the Chosen Hunter. It actually takes a normal direct line of sight shot and misses. Doesn't look like it has line of sight of course, but that's already out the window. Then it just stands there, so some pretty bad AI because Todo Takehisa still has this guy outflanked, just takes another shot, also gets a critical hit, and that's the end of the Chosen Hunter. Very easy to defeat, as I alluded to, and from my previous experience, it is always that easy. Now we open up the pod and see what's inside, and it's a strange suited humanoid. If you didn't skip the tutorial like I did, you would know that this is the same suit that the aliens were keeping the commander in, and although the game remarks on that, I don't think that's actually of plot significance. I think they just didn't want to make another asset for the thing that you found here. So it's a guy, and we're going to try and extract this guy with the rest of our team, and of course some alien reinforcements will be thrown down between us and the extraction extraction point to make that a tiny bit more difficult. I couldn't change the extraction point, you saw me trying it there because I wanted to put it just outside the door, but the guys flying the Sky Ranger are kind of fussy these days. Spooky Sam gives us some more high quality line of sight demonstrations by shooting the floor and damaging one of the enemies, good for him. Now we're going to fight our way out of this building. Arakamani uses a grenade to take out an enemy and damage another, also giving us another door to use if we need to. Nariko goes around the edge of the building and deals with the lighter mech. Next I've got Lordovix carrying our suspicious stasis-suited man outside, but I didn't notice this robot was on Overwatch and it nearly kills him, doing a massive 11 damage, but somehow he has 13 health, so gets away with it. That's a very high health bar, I must say. And there we go, he's still alive, and the suited guy, I guess, didn't get hit by that. I'm not sure if you actually can lose him, whether he's destructible. That would be a shame if you could, because I think the game would just game over at that point. Now our shooting continues, we blow up a stun lancer, blow up a purifier more literally, and now it's just that one mech outside. Spooky Sam almost kills it with that shot. He's got a tiny bit of health left, and he is now going to get to take an action against us. He starts running into the building and sees Arakamani hiding behind this equipment. He uses his guaranteed damage attack on him, unfortunately. But then, fortunately, Arakamani has the untouchable perk. That means that if you kill an enemy, in the next turn, the first attack against you always misses or always does no damage. So just somehow he gets away without taking a wound there, and Napoleon finishes off the robot. So that went a lot better than expected. Now we can extract. If I hadn't done that stupid thing with Lordovix walking into the Overwatch there, we would have actually done this entire mission without taking any damage. Lordovix extracted with the stasis suit individual, then some more robots jump in to try and stop us, but we're already just by the extraction point, so we can just leave without fighting them. Still, we were on Overwatch, so we're going to get some damage on them anyway. An exploding purifier gets things off to a good start. Spooky Sam's on kill zone on the reinforcement point, misses his first shot though. Nariko helps him out by killing that shield bearer. Next, the Stun Lancer tries to move, and Spooky Sam's kill zone will now trigger again. Can he redeem himself with this shot? The answer is yes, he can. Down that guy goes. Not that this at all matters, since, as I said, I could just walk away. And as I do walk away, I decide to shoot from the extraction point, just trying to finish off the enemy for a sense of completion, and we do just about get it with our last attack. So that's that, another reinforcement board dealt with, and the entire squad has now made it out alive. Attacking this base proved to be easier than expected actually, and we've got our Advent stasis suit in the loot. So we now have to research this to find out what's on the inside. Hopefully it's something nice, and it also reduces the Avatar project's progress since we've messed up one of the enemy's main bases. Constantinus is tired of all this rubbish. He actually is shaken. I'm not quite sure what causes this, but it's just psychological damage effectively. He now has to not take part in operations for a couple of weeks, so he's off and the rest of the squad will have to take up the slack. Before I could do any more scanning on the world map, we got another mission, which wasn't exactly welcome, and what the mission is wasn't particularly nice either. We need to do a supply raid against 30 enemies, according to our mysterious enemy radar that we have on the ship now, and it's also a surgical sitrep mission. This means you can only send 3 people to do it, and 3 against 30 didn't sound very good, although there are lost on this map, so it's possible that a very large number of that 30 are just lost, but still we don't really know. I decided to ignore the mission, but the game gets very angry if you actually click on that button and it says, are you sure you want to ignore it? And now I was psyched out because I don't actually know what the negative consequence of ignoring a mission is. I thought maybe we can just do the mission but not actually do it. So here we are in the mission. I've sent 3 squad members to go and take part in the mission, and I thought we'll just shoot a couple of guys and then leave. That way we don't have to expose our squad members to the danger of actually trying to get through all the enemies on the map without dying. We'll start things off by using Frank Builders from a very old series, Frank's Penance here, to take a snipe at a purifier hoping to damage some nearby enemies. He misses a 90% plus shot there, so that's just bad luck. Classic for Frank, and now these 3 enemies will be fighting us. Sigvold shoots a grenade forward. That's Sigvold the Magnificent from The Perfect Crime. That grenade removes cover on a Muton and a Purifier and damages them both. That sets up Nagako to go for the kill on the Muton, which is the most dangerous of these enemies, so I was trying to prioritize it. Once this guy is dead, the other guys probably won't be able to kill us, so we can now definitely escape from this mission. That said, we won't escape unharmed. The mech uses its guaranteed damage attack to put damage onto both Nagako and Frank, so now they are wounded, and some Lost are about to swarm us apparently, and Frank is actually on fire because of the Purifier's attack that I didn't show, so everything going a little bit badly even as this fight starts, and we're not expecting things to improve. Nagako takes out the Purifier from the extraction point, and we're going to do a similar thing with Sigvald taking out the mech. So we can say we defeated one enemy squad, we sent in 3, defeated 3 and lost none. So on numbers alone that was an okay engagement, although this was actually a supply raid and we didn't get any supplies, since you have to clear the whole map in this type of supply raid to get anything. So that means the mission is technically a failure. Now Central is very depressed and it's going to play the sad music because we lost the battle in some way, even though it was Central's idea to only send 3 guys to try and do it. But whatever, we'll take a picture of us looking happy so we can pretend things went well for our propaganda, and that'll be the end of that. So now I'm just going to rest up our more quality operatives, ready to go and do the next story mission when we attack the mysterious location that we believe is central to the aliens' command network.